I accused my wife of cheating on me and demanded a paternity test. So she got one and it changed my life forever. My wife has brown hair so dark it looks black, blue eyes and a skin tone that is a couple of shades darker than tan. I have black hair, dark brown eyes and a skin tone a shade darker than my wife. We have 3 children. 2 boys, 6M and a little girl, 3F. None of them look like me or my wife. My boys have brown reddish hair and hazel eyes. My girl is a dark blonde with light brown eyes. They are all on the lighter side when it comes to skin tone. I didn't think anything of it at first. Both my wife and I have some interesting heritage. But from the birth of my sons, my family kept bringing it up with me. They would point out the facial features all the time. Where does that chin come from? Look at those cheekbones. That boy stands as straight as a ruler. Who has hair that straight? Things like that. I shut them down or ignored it all. I never paid any mind to them. Then an old high school friend of my wife's was in town. He was only in town for a couple of days, so there wasn't really time for my wife to meet him for lunch or anything because we had a lot going on. So my wife invited him to our girl's 3rd birthday party. He wasn't at our wedding, and I had never met him before. Even on previous visits, he was always in and out. Sometimes my wife could see him, but sometimes she couldn't. Then there he was, this tall white man with dark blonde hair and hazel-colored eyes. He and my wife were obviously close. They hugged for a long time. The whole time he was there, he was wherever my wife was and my family and I watched them. If she was putting more food out, he was there helping. If she was collecting stray plates and cups and trash, he was there giving a hand. The whole time he was there, they were laughing and talking. She introduced him to those who didn't know him. But it was obvious he wasn't there to socialize, he just wanted to talk to her for the time he was there. A couple of hours later, it was time for him to go. My wife walked him out. They had another long hug before he climbed into his Uber and left. My mother and sister were in my ear from the moment they laid eyes on him. I didn't need to hear their suspicions. I had plenty of my own rocking around in my head. I'll spare you all the gory details of my behavior in the weeks following my girl's birthday. I'll only say I wasn't a pleasure to be around. My wife doesn't like drama, doesn't like conflict. She likes to talk things out. That doesn't mean she'll back away from conflict and avoid drama at any costs, only that she prefers to work things out calmly. So in the middle of me picking an argument with her, when I finally outright accused her of cheating, accused her of passing those kids off as mine and demanding a paternity test, I did not expect her to come back at me as hot as she did. She said she had been waiting for the day I would throw this at her. She had not been blind or deaf to all my family had said and done over the years. Am I allowing it? But she had hoped I had more trust in her than to listen to people who never approved of her, people who had nothing better to do with their lives but talk BS about everyone else. I don't know why her saying those things pushed me over the edge. The argument grew and grew. I grabbed by the upper arm so hard I left bruises and shook her. Her hand came up and slapped me right across the face. The police were called. I was made to leave the house. I went to my parents a couple of days later. I went home, but the locks had been changed and my wife wasn't answering the door or picking up her phone. The following week, she filed a petition for paternity of all my kids. Did you know you can check for a part 2 by pressing share and then more?